So it's 3 Mercedes-powered cars and 1 Renault-powered car. But here we go. We've got the straight line speed. We give Norris a bit of a squeeze, and that opens up the door for Fernando Alonso as he goes up the inside of Norris and even squeezes Norris out to give Hamilton the open door. Here we go, side by side for Hamilton and Norris, as Hamilton had to take to the outside of the track. But that is a beautiful move from Alonso and from Hamilton. But now it just puts more pressure on myself, because the 2 drivers behind me now are probably the 2 best drivers on the grid. Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, welcome back to F1 Road to Glory career mode, driving for Williams Racing alongside Alexander Albon. And guys, it's crunch time properly, because we are here for the season finale at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's go, boy! Guys, we need to get into this episode, and even though Season 1 has been so many struggles and trials and tribulations for this team, we can end off this season on a high. We're going to try our best, and then start Season 2 by hitting the ground running. It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal Season 2, but before we can get to Season 2, we need to finish Season 1. So guys, heading towards this episode, obviously, constructors and drivers is reasonably sealed, but there is still the opportunity of a spanner in the works. So let's go straight there now. So you guys can see we do have a solid P8 in the constructors, but Daniel Ricciardo is only 4 points behind us. So it's going to be a very tough race between myself and Ricciardo to see who takes P8 in this Drivers' Championship. And then constructors-wise, we are still in a battle with Alpine for P5 in the constructors. Now, starting the season, I did not think we would be fighting for P5 in the constructors, because ever since the start of the season, we have been the slowest car on the grid according to the R&D, and at some tracks we were by far the slowest car on the grid. We caught Aston Martin a slight bit between like the Spain to Canada section of the calendar, but never passed them according to performance. So every singular point that we've gotten for this team has been through blood, sweat, and tears. And heading in towards this weekend, there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that's probably going to happen. And after the absolute crazy race we had in Brazil, well, both the races we had in Brazil with the sprint and the main race, I am only expecting chaos for Abu Dhabi, to be honest. And heading in towards this weekend, guys, obviously it's the new Abu Dhabi Grand Prix layout that we've seen since 2021, but it's only been released on the F1 22 game. So it's the first time that I'm going to be driving the circuit in this fashion with the new layout. But for the final time in Season 1, guys, let's look at the performance chart. So Ferrari will end the season as the fastest car, followed closely behind by actually Mercedes, not Red Bull. Mercedes and Red Bull are a pixel difference, with Mercedes on P2, Red Bull P3. With McLaren P4, they are really setting themselves up for a very strong Season 2. Alpine are in P5 with Alfa Romeo P6, Aston Martin P7, Haas P8, Alfa Tauri P9, and we are just a few pixels behind Alfa Tauri in P10. So all the work we have done this season has gotten to this point. Any teams that miss out on saving upgrades with the regulation change are going to be heavily impacted. We've already saved all our upgrades, so for us, we're going to hit the ground running in Season 2 when we head to Bahrain for the season opener. But that is the only track I'm going to give away for the Season 2 calendar. The rest you guys are going to have to wait and see. And make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss the first episode of Season 2. Hashtag a wink wink nudge nudge. So guys, we are going for a DRS upgrade heading into Season 2. Obviously, this upgrade will only come on after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so that we will have both DRS upgrades on the car, so the car's DRS is going to be in full working condition. And we are now heading towards qualifying, and for this quali session, guys, Obviously, my heart is still in at the point of, can I just get out of Q1? Because honestly, it's such a pain in the butt to fall out of Q1 every single time and not even sniff Q2. But once again, the only way we're going to do that is if we keep trying. So as we are in the car, ready to get this qualifying session started, we come towards the end of our first lap. You guys can see I've got a very terrible run through the penultimate corner as I turned in too quickly and had to come out of the corner, and it just completely ruined my final 2 turns. And yeah, for this, obviously, you guys can actually see I tried a medium traction control setting just for the fun of it to see what it would be like, but it felt terrible, and our first lap was only a 26.4, which honestly was a terrible lap. And I honestly didn't want to go for 3 runs in Q1. I wanted to save my tires and go for just a proper, stupidly quick lap at the end of Q1, and this is now where we start that final lap in Q1. Heading into the first corner, it's a 4th gear corner. Plant the throttle on the way out as you mount that exit curve. Through this next part, just nip the curbs on the inside each time and just let the car run through there. Down the hill towards which would have been a chicane, but is now a very tight hairpin onto the back straight. We've gotten rid of that absolutely terrible chicane section at the end of turn 1, and now we barrel on towards the back straight. DRS open as we now head towards the very tight middle sector chicane that is still here in between the 2 straights. So here we go. Into this next corner, hard on the brakes as George Russell sets the fastest lap of a 122. Then Max Verstappen goes even faster with a 122.8. Now Hamilton goes fastest with a 122.80. So the front of the field are really just giving each other sucker punches of the fastest laps, but we are not worried about that. We are worried for getting ourselves out of Q1 and into Q2. Into this next hairpin, which also we have gotten rid of that left, right, left, and then another left section on the track. Is now just one flowing hairpin, and I absolutely love that corner. It feels amazing going through there. Just wish it was in a 2020 car. But in any case, through this next section, all these corners have been widened, and the sharpness has been a little bit downgraded. And into the final 2 corners, through the final one, open the throttle on the outside curve, and we are in P! And I'm guessing once again it's P out of qualifying. I've got that feeling, my brother, I've got that feeling. So, not the best day for Ferrari, to be honest, in Q1. But, guys, not just myself, but Albon falls out as well. He's less than half a tenth behind Lance Stroll. We are the slowest car by a fair margin. So there's a lot of work to do in this Grand Prix. But it's the last of the season. We've got nothing to lose. Let's go crazy, let's go bonkers, and let's go for gold. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains, here in the United Arab Emirates, on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina Circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles, 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. And we expect average speeds of around 123 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Russell, Fernando Alonso, and Vettel, Joe, Bottas, Tsunoda, and Daniel Ricciardo, O'Connor, Magnussen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Pierre Gasly and Stroll. They've taken a grid penalty. Albon, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Carlos Sainz, Hamilton, and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching out for as they head into turn one?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn one as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Let's finish the season with a really strong effort. Come on.
Mark, that is the absolute idea to end off this season. And guys, penalties upon penalties upon penalties upon penalties. Even though we qualified P19, we are starting in P11, right behind our championship rival in his papaya orange McLaren, Daniel Ricciardo. I wouldn't say that's ironic. I would say that is how it's meant to be. But guys, obviously you guys can see I'm going for a split strategy. I'm starting on the mediums, but if there's a mid-race safety car, I can convert to a 2-stop. Otherwise, I'm going to stick it to a 1-stop. We've got nothing to lose. We need to see what happens and how the race unfolds. And honestly, guys, I'm excited. I think this is going to be an exceptional race. We've underfueled the car so that we can have an aggressive start and see if we can get our nose ahead of Ricciardo, because the rest of the drivers I'm not worried about. I just want to finish ahead of Ricciardo, whether it's inside or outside the points. And as you guys can see, Yuki Tsunoda in P9 is actually starting on the soft tires. He is the only driver to do this. So does Yuki know something that the rest of us don't? Let's wait and see, as it's now time for the formation lap. But guys, just one position away from points. Can we end off this incredible season that we've had with one final race scoring points? Even if it's only P10, even if we only beat Ricciardo, that would be absolutely fantastic. Because obviously, guys, Ricciardo is our main rival, and with only 4 points difference in the championship, it's anybody's game. It's absolutely anybody's game. And for between myself and Ricciardo, it's McLaren versus Williams, two British constructors, and let's see what happens as we head to 5 red lights, and it's go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, go for the final time this season, as Kevin Magnussen has an absolutely blistering start off the line, but we have had a beautiful line into turn one, little bit of a tag slapper on the way out, as we've squeezed out Ricciardo between myself and Yuki Tsunoda. We go side by side with Tsunoda through this next part, but we get ahead of Tsunoda, and that is us now up into P9, as Ricciardo has fallen to our position in P11. As now we look at Guan Yu Zhou, who runs into the back of his teammate, and he has broken his front wing. There's Fernando Alonso alongside the Chinese rookie now. We are now right behind the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel, as we now head down the back straight for the first time, side by side for myself and the retiring 4-time world champion. The two retiring men are right behind, are right next to each other on track here, as Alonso and Vettel will be saying goodbye to us at the end of the season. But there's contact between myself and my hero through the chicane as he shoves us wide, but we take the wide line and he still gives us the position, and obviously the stewards have got no problem with that, as the two former world champions, the two retiring legends of this sport, are going side by side through the second sector hairpin. Who's going to come out on top? It is Fernando Alonso, as we get our noses ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, the man who driving the wounded Alfa Romeo Sauber. We need to try and now get onto the back of Valtteri Bottas, but leading the way is the already crowned world champion Charles Leclerc, from Max Verstappen in P2, Sergio Perez P3, Russell P4, Bottas in a very lofty P5, and we have fought ourselves all the way up into P6. But we've got two very determined world champions behind us, wanting to score proper points in their final races in Formula 1. Here comes Alonso and Vettel. Let's see what happens. But Zhou is into the lane to get his front wing replaced, and I think that is not the way that Guan Yu Zhou would have wanted to end his rookie season in Formula 1. But maybe there's a late safety car and Zhou can still get in on this fight and get some proper points. Also, drivers that need to be looked out for, guys, is Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Lewis Hamilton, who started at the back of the grid thanks to grid penalties. So they are also going to be coming from behind, but I think we're only going to start to see them at the end of the race, but they are still a threat. But we now jump onto the mid part of lap 3. As you guys can see, it's an easy move for Alonso with DRS. This Alpine chassis and aerodynamics is just too much for me to deal with in Sector 1 and Sector 2. And then as soon as he's close enough with DRS in Sector 2 on the straights, there's nothing I can do. But now we look at the Aussie, my championship rival, Daniel Ricciardo, who has managed to get past Sebastian Vettel and is now pressurizing me without any end in sight. We go a little bit wide through that left-right fast chicane section at the end after turn 1. Into the hairpin, leading on to the first back straight. It's side by side for myself and Ricciardo, but we defend the inside line. We do not have DRS off of Alonso, unfortunately, so we are going to be a sitting duck for this Mercedes-powered McLaren. But oh no, we actually do have DRS. Seems like Ricciardo was ahead of me before we went over the DRS detection line, so that is what saved my bacon. But now he's going to have DRS for the second straight, and he is towing along a 4-time world champion with the number 5 scribbled on the side of that Aston Martin. Sebastian Vettel is coming with Ricciardo. But here we go. Luckily, it's easy defense as the Williams still has exceptional straight line speed, but I can't lean on that too much today because we've still got very tight and twisty corners as there's smoke from the back of the McLaren. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my word. As Ricciardo is starting to mount a proper fight, that McLaren goes up in flames and Ricciardo will retire from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And guys, this is sealed P8 for us in the Drivers' Championship with only on lap 4 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I'm not gonna lie, even though Ricciardo is my rival, my heart breaks for Ricciardo, because he was really working hard to get ahead of this Williams. But that's how the cookie crumbles. We now have to defend from Sebastian Vettel right behind us. As you guys are now seeing a replay of my teammate and Sebastian Vettel's teammate, Lance Stroll, battling very fiercely through the second sector. But the Williams straight line speed and top end speed is a bit too much to handle for the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. As now, here with Ricciardo's retirement, we have a safety car. No! Sebastian Vettel, what have you done? Guys, Vettel has just run into the back of the safety car. Really? Like, honestly, guys, I didn't think that the safety car was going to be deployed for Ricciardo's incident, but clearly it was. So, and also within that whole little sequence, Pierre Gasly also retired, and Vettel ran into the back of the safety car. What is going on in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? I mean, that is a crazy start, and it's only now the end of lap 7. We're going to go racing again on lap 8. As you guys can see, I'm right behind my hero, Fernando Alonso. And now that Vettel is out of this race, Ricciardo's out of this race, for one final time on F122, let's have a battle with our hero, Fernando Alonso. Let's go. So before Alonso retires, I need to give Alonso a good run for his money. But you guys can see through the few quarters in the first sector, that Alpine chassis is just absolutely phenomenal. But now is the part where this Williams is going to be strong. The straight line speed. Because I know the Alpine does not have the best straight line speed. But let's see what we can get going for ourselves here. Here we go. ERS in full flow. Thanks to the safety car, we have caught up all the fuel that we needed to. But guys, look how we're gaining on Alonso. We're gaining and gaining and gaining. But we are too far back to go for a dive bomb. So let's set him up through this next chicane. We take a wider line into the corner to put the power down earlier. We now absolutely dump all the ERS we possibly can on this back straight. Here we go. Will Alonso defend the inside or the outside? He defends inside. We pull to the outside. Will we go right around the outside of the former 2-time world champion? Will we do it around the outside? It is side by side for myself and Alonso, but we do it. We are hanging around the outside of that Alpine, of that superior Alpine. I do not know how we did that, but guys, let's have a replay of this because this is an absolutely beautiful move from myself. Let's see. Around we go, and it's an absolutely glorious move around the outside of Fernando Alonso. I mean, look how perfectly that turned out. Just beautiful around the outside action. I did not think that this Williams chassis would be able to do that. But I didn't just surprise myself, the car surprised me too. But the fight is not over between myself and Alonso, guys, because even though I made the move, this Alpine overall is still a much quicker car than myself. And as you guys can see the exact corner where I overtook Alonso, I run a bit wide on the exit, and through this little kink section into sector 3. Alonso just decides to back out of the move because it was a little bit risky to go for a move there around the outside. But I am almost sure that my hero is not very satisfied by the fact that he got done around the outside by a Williams. So I'm sure Fernando is not happy at all. But I mean, the pit stop window is now open for the hard tire runners. And guys, if there's no safety car at this point, I will not convert to a 2-stop. So I think at this stage we can say that we are going for the normal 1-stop, like most of the other drivers. Luckily, with the safety car, the 2-stopper, Yuki Tsunoda, and obviously Guan Yu Zhou, who broke his wing at the start of lap 1, they are now back in this fight, and they can still fight for points. And as you guys can see, heading into the hairpin before we get onto the back straights, I actually went a bit deep, and it enabled Alonso to go past me. But this Williams is actually so strong as the fuel gets lighter in a straight line that, oh my word, Alonso has a massive lockup heading into the middle sector chicane. I mean, oh my word. And I also saw some carbon fiber flying there. I think Kevin Magnussen ran into the back of my Williams as I just absolutely hit the brakes to avoid Alonso. But I mean, guys, what I was busy saying is this Williams is getting stronger and stronger lap by lap in the straight with the fuel going down. It's as if it's getting better than the cars around me that are also dropping fuel. So I mean, it's easier to stick with these guys if they overtake me and they even have DRS. I mean, you guys saw Alonso ahead of me, his rear wing was open, but just dumping a bit of ERS meant that we could stay with him. But let's have a replay here, as yes, Kevin Magnussen runs into our right rear wheel, and Alonso, being under pressure, has a very uncharacteristic lockup, and that enables me to take back my position. And Kevin Magnussen has just ruined a very, very good double points finish for Haas here, because look at Haas, they are 7th and 8th. But Magnussen will have to pit now to get off, well, to replace his front wing and probably get onto the hard tires. But that wing change is going to throw him outside the points. Maybe, just maybe, he can get back in this fight. But guys, it's clear that I couldn't hang on to Valtteri Bottas. So Bottas is at this stage is in for a very solid P4 in this race. But he is off of the mediums onto the hards. And we as well are into the pit lane, as we need to try and now get out and go for the undercut on Alonso. So I need to get these hards heated up as quickly as possible, and then in that the end of the third, at the end of the second sector and the third sector, I need to push like an absolute madman. So here we go. Out of this exceptional pit lane in Abu Dhabi, we are behind Lewis Hamilton, who's already made a pit stop actually. So he is ahead of us, but he's going to have to pit again later on in this race, guys. So we're basically focused on trying to keep this Williams ahead of Fernando Alonso. So we now look to, we head towards the end of lap 13, and your race leader, Charles Leclerc, is in, as Perez pitted on the same lap as myself and Bottas. Here comes Leclerc, Verstappen, and will Russell join them in the pit lane? I think he will, because his teammate has already made his pit stop. But let's see, can the Red Bull work a wonder here and jump the Ferrari crew? I don't think they can. Charles was too far ahead, and Russell in the background is in as well. So this is your top three, and at this stage, Charles is dominating this race and just keeping his Ferrari at a safe distance from Verstappen. And I think Charles is hoping that Russell has some more pace on the hard so that he can catch up to Verstappen and Perez and put them under a bit of pressure. But here we go. This is the man that we are focused on. Fernando Alonso is into the pit lane. My teammate is into the pit lane as well, as he is still engaged in a battle with Lance Stroll that hasn't yet found an end to it. But here we go, through the first corner, into T2 and T3. We are ahead of Fernando Alonso. Our undercut worked beautifully. Not by a lot. It worked, but not by a lot. But the point is, we are ahead of the Spaniard, and we can now defend for the final, what is this? 16 laps of this race. 16 laps of this race. So it is now or never. But you guys can see Mick Schumacher and Lando Norris stayed out for a fair bit on their mediums. They went for an overcut. I hope it works out for them. But let's head through the top 10. As still leading the way, it is Charles Leclerc. He's still in a dominant lead for Ferrari. Verstappen P2. Russell resumes in P3 with Bottas P4. Hamilton going for his early undercut pit stop, he's on a 2-stop. He is in P5 with myself P6, Alonso P7. I think Mick Schumacher is going to come out in P8 of this race. Maybe he's going to get jumped by Lando. I'm not sure, but we are P6, Alonso P7. Yes, Schumacher comes out in P8, followed by Norris in P9, and Albon is going to be in P10. So at this stage, it's double points for Williams. And it doesn't seem like Lance Stroll has the Vuma to get past the Williams of Albon. So maybe, just maybe, we can score double points again for Williams at the season finale to really round off a very underdog-like season. But guys, we now look at Lewis Hamilton battling his former teammate Valtteri Bottas for P4 in this race. And now that they are no longer teammates, Bottas has all the right in the world to fight Hamilton as hard as he wants. Hamilton goes around the outside of at the second part of the middle sector chicane. And here we go. Down the back straight. Valtteri has got DRS now. And look at that Alfa Romeo Sauber in a straight line. Will he do to Hamilton what I did to Alonso? Around the outside for the fin. And he absolutely embarrasses Hamilton around the outside of the hairpin. And I can guarantee you guys, Hamilton is not happy about that move. But here we go again. Lap 17. Hamilton will try again. And I think this time he's going to get a much cleaner move and a more direct move done on Bottas to make sure that Mercedes stays ahead of the Alfa Romeo. And into the middle sector chicane, no side-by-side nonsense. Hamilton is ahead of Bottas. But guys, remember once again, he still has to make a second pit stop. As you guys can see now, it is still myself and Fernando Alonso. And guys, excuse the fact that the recording jumped there. Alonso went for a move up the inside of the hairpin, got the move done because I went deep once again. And now we are battling side by side through this next part. As once again, the recording jumps, and I do apologize. But I mean, from the inside to the outside, we dummy Alonso. Will we do another move around the outside to the inside of this next part? It's very close between myself and Alonso. Alonso is off track, but we managed to defend from the Spaniard. And we have to have a replay now of all this, because I mean, seriously, there were too many jumps in the recording there, and I do apologize for that, guys. But I mean, I dummied Alonso from the inside to the outside, just hung it around the outside on these hard tires. This part, Alonso just refuses to give up. He goes off track and still tries to hang it around the outside, but to no avail. What an exceptional battle between myself and my hero here. And I mean, lap 18, it's just a replay of us there, but it was also Lando Norris and Mick Schumacher battling hammer and tong here for P9 and P10. Let's see what happens here. Norris tries to go around the outside of Schumacher. He'll have the inside for the second part of the chicane, but I think Schumi is going to have the exit of this part of the track. Or he actually does not. Norris makes the move stick, and now we jump on to the end of lap 20, and the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton is coming in for his second pit stop of the afternoon. So the question now is, where is Hamilton going to emerge? This will release Bottas, myself, and Alonso back up a position. Bottas is doing absolute wonders for Alfa Romeo this race. I mean, oh my word. He is just sitting pretty in P4, minding his own business, and absolutely just killing it in P4. So well done, Bottas. Well done. That's the way you want to end up the season for probably a team that started very well, but is starting to become a back market team again. So that's going to put the team in very, very good spirits. But I mean, guys, we're P5, Alonso P6, Norris P7, Schumacher P8, Albon is in P9. Magnussen has fought himself all the way back up into P10, so he's still fighting back in that horse. And Hamilton has come out in P11, but he's on fresh hard tires. I honestly don't know what Mercedes just did. They just didn't put him on softs. But I mean, he's on fresh hard tires, and he's going to be very, very quick at this final part of the race. As soon as those tires are up to temperature, Hamilton is going to be a rocket. He's going to be a rocket. And now, because of myself and Alonso's fighting, Norris and Schumacher have caught up to this fight, and even Albon is starting to catch up to this fight. As we now look at Hamilton, as he goes up the inside of Kevin Magnussen, like Alonso did to me when we had our exceptional battle. It's an easy move for Hamilton, as he's also got DRS on Schumacher, on Magnussen, and it's an easy move for P10. We now move on to my teammate Alex Albon, and even though I want Albon to fight this hard, I don't want him to lose time so that he's under pressure from Magnussen behind, because then he can lose the opportunity of points. He's down to P10, but what did I say? Albon is fighting Hamilton, but it's not going to work, Alex. Even though, wait, we've got DRS. Albon has got DRS on Hamilton. Is he seriously going to try and hang this around the outside, knowing that Magnussen is right behind him? Around the outside, can Albon do it to Hamilton? No, he can't. But what a try. What a try from Albon. But now he's under severe pressure until the checkered flag comes. Once again, we jump back to our POV at the start of lap 24. Myself and Alonso are still fighting like you guys wouldn't believe. And now, once again, Norris and Schumacher are in this fight. And Hamilton is closing up like freaking by the speed of light. And here we go. Once again, there's only a few laps to go. A few laps to go for my hero's for his final race in Formula One. I mean, I'm defending, but also I am loving every bit of this battle to the bone. This is absolutely awesome between myself and Alonso. We jump to lap 25. Once again, Alonso goes for the inside dive at the hairpin, but this time I don't go deep, and I've got a beautiful exit coming out of there. But Alonso will have DRS, as well as Norris, Schumacher, and Hamilton. But here we go. Look at the background. Here goes Mick Schumacher. Here comes Alonso. It is 2-2 heading into the middle sector chicane. Oh my word, the stress levels are real, guys. I am sweating buckets here. But here we go. We defend around the outside. Will Schumacher go around the outside of Lando Norris? He cannot do that. But now also, that silver arrow is looming in the background. We have got 5 cars battling for P5 in this race. And even my teammate Albert is still defending from Magnussen behind this pack. Come on, Albert. We need these points. We need these points. It's just the end of the season on a proper high. Alonso has a massive tank slapper. Heading onto the first back straight. And here comes the Brit, Lando Norris. He has got to put Alonso under severe pressure here because, like I said at the beginning of the race, guys, Norris, Sainz, and Hamilton were going to be problems at the end of the race. But Carlos Sainz has just had an absolutely terrible Grand Prix so far, and he just hasn't been able to cut his way through the field like Hamilton and Norris. And at this stage, Norris is doing the best job because he is the leading car of those 3 cars that I talked about. So here we go. Will Alonso re-overtake young Lando Norris? Around the outside does Norris try, and that McLaren has still got a proper chassis underneath it, and Norris gets the move on Alonso. I think Alonso is so fed up with people overtaking him around the outside at that very specific corner. I've done it twice now, and now Lando Norris has done it as well. And I mean, the next guy on the list to pressure Fernando Alonso is Lewis Hamilton. And we all know what relationship Hamilton and Alonso have with each other. There is not much love between those 2 drivers. So here we go. We start lap 27. There's only 3 laps to go, guys. 27, 28, and 29. And we are just, guys, these hards were starting to feel very worse for wear. They were starting to feel very second-hand. But I was fighting with everything inside of me. Bottas, over 11 and a half seconds ahead of me, but I did not care. It's Norris, Alonso, and Hamilton coming from behind, and I honestly want this P5 like you guys wouldn't believe. Ricciardo is out, so no matter where I finish, I will secure P8 in the Drivers' Championship. But I mean, we're all racers. We want to do this properly. We want to fight until the very end. And on lap 27, we are not under pressure from Norris, which is 1 less lap of stress for me. But look at the background. Carlos Sainz, as Carlos Sainz hits the back of the second Alpine of Esteban Ocon. And that is now Sainz without a left front end plate on his Ferrari. So that is Carlos Sainz's final race of the season. Absolutely ruined. And guys, I honestly think Ferrari might be doubting that Sainz should stay with that team for the next season, but we'll have to wait and see. Here we go. Lando Norris is putting in a brilliant performance here today, but he goes up the inside of myself. Mid-lap 28, we defend from Norris through the chicane, as we force him to be under pressure from Alonso and Hamilton. So it's 3 Mercedes-powered cars and 1 Renault-powered car. But here we go. We've got the straight line speed. We give Norris a bit of a squeeze, and that opens up the door for Fernando Alonso as he goes up the inside of Norris and even squeezes Norris out to give Hamilton the open door. Here we go, side by side for Hamilton and Norris, as Hamilton has to take to the outside of the track. But that is a beautiful move from Alonso and from Hamilton. But now it just puts more pressure on myself, because the 2 drivers behind me now are probably the 2 best drivers on the grid. So here we go. And Magnussen has managed to overtake my teammate Albon, and there's 1 lap left to go. Norris is into the pit lane. Why is Norris into the pit lane? He's got front wing damage. You've got to be kidding me. Oh my soul, that is terrible luck for the young Brit. But I mean, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and George Russell have driven a brilliant race, but Charles has been absolutely dominant. But I think driver of the day for me goes to Valtteri Bottas in that Alfa Romeo in P4. And the top right-hand corner of your screen, you guys can see Leclerc. He's going to finish the final race of the season. But on the final lap, myself versus my hero versus Hamilton. And even in the background, the 2 Haas cars are going to, it seems like they're going to battle. And maybe just maybe Alex Albon can get into the points. But no, wait, Norris pitted. Albon is in the points. He just defend from Ocon, Albon. Just defend from Ocon. I mean, Charles Leclerc has won the Grand Prix. Verstappen P2, Russell P3. But we are still under pressure from Hamilton and Alonso. But I mean, we've defended brilliantly. And we get into the Sector 3 for the final time ahead of Alonso and Hamilton. Will Hamilton go for a glory dive in this final sector? I don't think he can. He's not close enough to Alonso. But Valtteri Bottas takes a beautiful P4 in the Alfa Romeo. Like I said, driver of the day for the Finn. But I mean, it's just a few corners to go. And for the final race of the season, guys, we end on a high. Myself, P5. Albert in P10. It's a double Williams points finish at the season finale.
Well, that's it. What a season. Great work this year. Really great work. It's been hard at times, but we've come through it together. Well done.
That's it then, they've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
So then, Ferrari have now moved out of sight and out of reach. It's another triumph for the Italian team as they claim the World Constructors' Championship. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Oh, absolutely you will, Crofty, because we will be back with Season 2 shortly on the channel, guys. I mean, P5 in our final race, Albon gets P10, Ricciardo has retired, and I mean, I don't know what happened to Sergio Perez, because obviously he was with Verstappen in P3. He must have had some sort of car problem or contact with the front wing breakage or something, but Charles Leclerc ends the season on a high. We end in P5 in the Constructors' Championship for Williams. But guys, here's the problem. Those four teams above us, especially McLaren, they are ready for Season 2. Those cars are going to be stupidly quick. How are we going to better our position in Season 2? Because we need to aim for higher now. We need to aim for minimal P4. I don't think we're going to be close to fighting for the championship in Season 2. That's going to be Season 3. But I mean, Norris and Ricciardo showed that car has pace. So it's P8 in the drivers. I'm so happy about that. That is 14 points ahead of Ricciardo. It's 11 points for Williams today in our Constructors fight. We almost got to triple digits. 94 points in the Constructors, just 6 points away from the triple digits. I think that is a good goal to aim for in Season 2. And the harder goal possible, but the harder goal is to get P4 or higher in the Constructors' Championship. But guys, congratulations to Charles Leclerc. He has been a dominant driver this season. And I'm telling you guys now, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Norris are going to be drivers to watch in Season 2. I mean, and with the retiring Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, we're going to have two rookies come into the sport. It's gonna be silly season with the driver transfers. It's gonna be crazy for season 2. But we now have to say goodbye to season 1. You guys can see we're just handling the final little bit of admin, trying to get some final few upgrades on as our weekly resources come in to get this car ready for season 2. I am not starting season 2 as the slowest car on this grid. I've been suffering with that the entire season 1. Season 2 is going to be the season of change. You guys have your confirmation there. Fernando Alonso is now retired from Formula 1, as well as Sebastian Vettel. And it is now 2 rookies need to come in. We are staying at Williams, so I'm going to show you guys the renegotiation process, because we are not leaving this team until we take them to victory and take them back to the top step of Formula 1. That is what we need to do. But we are rehired. I took minimal risk because I didn't want these guys to be like, oh, so you think now that you scored points, you deserve a big salary. Even though I do, I'm not going to get cocky. In any case, so we upgrade our development feedback, and unfortunately we don't have any cash left for further upgrades to our driver. But I mean, guys, it's been a fantastic season. We've got a fuel flow regulator upgrade that has come in. I think the DRS upgrade is gonna come in soon. We've got some weekly resources again. All our chassis upgrades have been repurchased, so they will not fall off the car. But aero-wise, we need to get this car into better aero specs. So I think those front wing canards, gurney flaps. The front wing gurney flaps is an upgrade that needs to happen, and we need to see what the chassis state is going to be heading into season 2. The DRS maximum slot gap is upgraded. The rotors for the engine have been upgraded, and that is the end of season 1. Not the end of the video yet, so don't you even dare go anywhere. But while you're busy listening to my very entertaining voice, make sure to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. And for the final time, guys, let's look at the results of this season. Once again, Leclerc has been absolutely dominant. In a 16-race season, he's got 9 victories. That's more than half the season. I mean, absolutely incredible stuff from Charles Leclerc. Nobody could touch Leclerc this season. And I mean, like I said, keep an eye on Hamilton, keep an eye on Norris, and keep an eye on, who else did I say? Leclerc, Hamilton, Norris. There we go. Keep an eye on those 3 drivers, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Norris. Keep an eye on them, because that is going to be an absolutely incredible season 2 to watch. But guys, that has been the end of season 1. And guys, I mean, I know this season has taken a lot longer than my seasons usually take, but it's been a very busy time for me recently. I want to thank you guys for all the support on these F1 videos. I enjoy every second of making this content for you guys. And season 2 is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be insane. And I think we are in for a banger of a second season, especially now knowing that this Williams, I mean, I know we don't know anything yet, but I guarantee you guys, I'm not going to let this car be the slowest car on the grid. And with that happening, we're going to slowly but surely start upgrading this car and slowly but surely get more to the front of this grid. And that is nothing but excitement. Guys, before I greet you guys for this season finale, remember to go check out the links in the description down below. All my social medias are down there, as well as my second YouTube channel. And once again, I've posted a few videos on there if you guys want to go watch something else except racing content. There's a vlog coming soon for you guys, so you guys can be excited about that. And yeah, just like I said, follow me on social media so you guys can have all the teasers and updates of what's going on here on Turbo Fox Racers. Guys, more than that, please remember to drop a like down below on the video if you haven't done it yet so far. The likes are really help me, and I would love to see you guys like the video. But while you do that, guys, get a bit more active in the comments. I want to chat to some of you guys and, you know, just have some fun with you guys in the comments down below. Tell me how I've made some stupid mistakes with my commentary, or how I've given something away, or bloody fish paste. Let's just have some friendly conversations in the comments down below. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then finally, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video here on Turbo Fox Racers. Welcome to the family. You are now officially a Turbonatic. And guys, what a way to send off my hero on this game, Fernando Alonso, with an exceptional, almost race-long battle with the Spaniard. I'm going to miss him in Season 2, but once again, I'm excited for Season 2 to see what gets delivered with the driver transfers, what is going to be delivered with the car upgrades, what's McLaren got up their sleeve, what have Alpine got up their sleeve, and maybe we've got something up our sleeve. Ferrari might have something. Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull are the cars to catch. So there's a lot that's going to happen in Season 2. There's a lot of unknowns, but we're going to find out soon what the situation may be. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in Season 2. You guys are amazing. I love you, my Turbonatics. Cheers!